Hi, my name is Terry, and you're watching Terry Tells the Story. Today, we're talking about the Russian ghost explosion. On June 30th, 1908, a massive explosion rocked a remote part of Siberia, flattening 80 million trees over an 800 square mile area. There was no crater, no witnesses in the immediate blast zone, and the energy released was 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Because the first expedition didn't reach the site until 13 years later, it remains one of the greatest scientific mysteries of the 20th century. At 7:17 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in 1908, the sky over the Tunguska River in Russia ripped open. A massive blue-white light, brighter than the sun, streaked across the atmosphere. Seconds later, a shockwave followed that was so powerful it broke windows hundreds of miles away and was recorded on seismic monitors as far away as Washington, D.C. and London. For 2 nights afterward, the skies over Europe and Asia were so bright people in London could read the midnight newspaper outdoors without a lamp. The strangest part of this story isn't the explosion itself, it's what happened afterwards, or what didn't happen. Russia was in a state of political upheaval, and the location was so remote and inhospitable that no one investigated the site for 13 years. When mineralogist Leonid Kulik finally led an expedition to the epicenter in 1921, he expected to find a giant crater and a mountain of iron fallen from a meteorite. What he found instead was a forest of poles. Millions of trees were still standing, but they had been completely stripped of their branches and bark, looking like giant toothpicks. Beyond that center point, for miles in every direction, 80 million trees were flattened in a perfect radial pattern, pointing away from the center. But there was no hole in the ground. There was no impact site. This lack of a crater gave birth to a century of wild theories. Some people claimed it was a mid-air nuclear explosion, before nuclear technology even existed. Others suggested a black hole had passed through the Earth, or that a UFO had experienced a catastrophic engine failure over the Siberian wilderness. There were even theories involving Nikola Tesla and a death ray experiment gone wrong. Modern science, however, has a more grounded, though equally terrifying explanation. It is now widely believed to have been an airburst. A stony asteroid, roughly 160 to 200 feet wide, entered the atmosphere at 33,000 miles per hour. As it hit the denser air near the surface, the pressure and heat became so intense that the asteroid didn't hit the ground. It evaporated in a massive explosion 3 to 6 miles above the Earth. The heat was so intense that it ignited a flash fire that burned the trees at the center before the shock wave could knock them over. Because the explosion happened in the air, the downward force kept the central trees standing while the outward force flattened everything else. If this event had happened just a few hours earlier, due to the Earth's rotation, the asteroid would have detonated directly over St. Petersburg, then the capital city of Russia. A city of millions would have been erased in seconds. The Tunguska event serves as a reminder that the planet is sitting on a cosmic shooting gallery, and sometimes the biggest threats never even touch the ground. So, the Spanish I'm going to be teaching you today is la fecha límite. La fecha límite. And what that means is the deadline. If you like this video or you learned something new, drop a like down below. If you have a specific topic that you'd like to see me cover, drop me a comment. And if you'd like to support this work that I do, there'll be a link to the Cash App in the description box below. We'll see you next time.